Alright everyone, so I'm going to walk you guys through a yoga session that I like to do on usually the mornings of game days. Sometimes I'll do it after a long practice or if I'm feeling a little bit sore. But this will really help release my hips, help release most parts of my body, just get me ready to get back to intense training next day or in the coming days. This is even a good thing to do on an off day. It's what you call active recovery. So I'll walk you guys through this step by step and we'll get into it. So you'll start, usually I have a yoga mat. Mine is on the way right now. We moved into our spot not that long ago to start the season, so I got a yoga mat coming in soon. You can generally find them anywhere in any gym that you work out in. We have a bunch of them at the weight room we have today, but I just wanted to walk you guys through this in the house so that you have a different level of quietness, being able to lock in. It's a little bit different than lifting weights or getting through a workout. So you're going to start out, we're going to put both our feet on the ground behind us. We're just going to sit back, have our toes up. We're not going to have them down and bent right now. We're just going to get this good stretch through our quads for now. We'll hold this for a while, really let you lock into this workout right now. Really want you guys to focus on your breathing. Try to stand up as tall as you can. Try to stand up straight if you can. Really important to have those shoes off during this. You'll get a whole different experience, shoes off. If you have your shoes on, I would liken it to typing with gardening gloves on. You're just not going to get the same feel. So once we finish this, we're going to go out, tap out a little bit, get your feet nice and ready. I like to do a couple ankle rolls. I do a lot of ankle mobility stuff. This is just some of it. We're going to get our calves into it a little bit. So we're going to place that left leg back. Keep this posture. I don't want you going like this. Straight up. Keep that back straight as you can. Really get into it. We're going to keep it here for a while. Always remember to breathe through these. After that, we're going to switch. Focus on that calf. Almost like you're pushing back into the ground. From here, we're going to take both feet. We're pushing them both back and lift your hips up. Really want to lift those hips up. You're in an upside down V shape right now. You can mess around in this. You can pedal a little bit. One leg's feel a little bit more. You could do that. Keep on pedaling. Really stay up in that V shape if you can. From here, we're going to raise up on our toes a couple times. Get a couple toe raises. Just working into your calves more like we were earlier. From here, we're going to get into it. This is what you really think of when you think of yoga. Go all the way up. We're going to bring that right leg all the way through in between our hands, right? So I'm in between, see this back toe? I'm now flattening it, so it's a little different than what we started off with. From here, I'm coming up. Keep those hips down. So I don't want my hips back. I want them up and through. Tilt it this way, and you feel the stretch back here on the left side right now. Stand tall. Try to keep those shoulders back. If I'm hunching here, it's not going to be the same stretch. Really focus on pushing those hips through. From here, put my hands back down and frame that foot. I'm gonna lift that back leg. Do a little rock again, right? And from here, I'm gonna get a little twist and a turn. We're getting into that groin stretch. So, right foot, staying planted. Left foot, I have my toes up in the air, okay? From here, come back to the same position. Shooting that leg back through. I'm getting back into that V like we started it, okay? You can definitely feel the difference now between the two legs, but we're gonna end up doing the same thing on the left side. So I'm bringing that left leg up, high as I can, all the way through. I wanna control that all the way through too. So right now for me, my right side has been tight lately, so this stretch is really good for me. Got these back toes flat, and I'm trying to keep my hips up this whole time. Pushing through, staying tall. Couple deep breaths. From here, same thing. I'm going to frame that foot. Fire up those back toes. I'm rocking back and forth, right? From here, we're getting into that same side lunge position. It's a better angle for you guys now. So I got that toe right here on the ground, and my right toes are pointed up towards the sky. Hold this for however long you need it. Should feel a lot in your groin and deep into your hamstring. So I'm here now. Turn it again. Coming through. Back into that V. I'm going to change the pace on this a little bit. It's probably something you guys are used to now. I'm just going to start getting some quad holds. So I'm here. I should feel a difference right here in the front, even more so than my quad. I should feel it in my hip flexor. Release slowly. Same thing other side. I don't want to lean forward or see this angle I'm taking right now. I want to stay as straight as I can while I'm doing this stretch, even if I have to hang on to something on the side. So I'm here straight as I can. This really allows that hip flexor to open up. If I'm here, the stretch is only getting my quad and that's it. Maybe the front end of my quad. Okay. We're going to get in that same starting V position now. Feel back into it. Get your hamstrings firing again. And we're going to walk our toes up to our hands. Maybe even our hands back, but see how my legs are staying straight. I'll walk my hands back here. From here, we go up slowly. Bring my hands together behind my back. At this point, I'm here, and I'm trying to reach as far as I can. I'm trying to get my hands as far above my head as possible. Just feel it in my hamstrings, and it'll open up my back too quite a bit. Gonna hold this and breathe, and slowly releasing these hands. I don't want to move quick here. Same thing on the way up. Feeling it slowly but surely coming back up. Last thing to move is my back here. So I stand all the way up, straight. In this position, I'll face you guys now. Actually, I'll stay turned so you can see the movements I use. Got my hands to the side. I bring them up slowly, and my right knee is coming up. Hands go above the head. I'm not focusing on that stability as much as I can. From here, fire this leg back. Make sure you have that room behind you. I don't have a whole lot right now. We got our arms back. Keep that ankle nice and firm. Focus on that foot strength. It shouldn't be easy right away. And we're bringing it back. It can get a little difficult at times. Bring it back through to the front of our body. And down. From here, we're doing the same thing, other leg. We're going up. Finding that stability. Shooting that leg back, right? Almost go back as well. This ankle's a little tougher for me. Not only is this good stretch, but it is good injury prevention as well. Find that stability. We're going back through. Knee comes up and down. We'll grab some water real quick. Always make sure you're hydrating, even though this may not seem like the biggest workout. Hydrate as much as you can. Alright, from here, our hips may feel a little tight just from bringing that knee all the way through, so we're going to get in this wide stance now. We're in that wide stance. Bring those arms up. And right now you can't see it, but I'm bringing my hands together and putting them behind my head. And all I'm going to do is bring them in circles, one direction behind my head. When I say so, we're going in the opposite direction with those circles. Okay? So I'm going around 3 or 4 times to the left. Once I come back, 3 or 4 to the right. Okay? From here, keeping those hands behind my head, I'm getting in this wide squat. Should be 90-degree angles right now. I'm getting those arms out. So I'm just resting in the squat right now. It's almost like I'm sitting down. I don't feel a lot of pain in my legs or my arms. Kind of move back and forth. We're gonna do something for the back now. Drop that right shoulder and look back. It's gonna be a little twist. I'm really pushing. I can feel this in my hip flexor on the right side as well. We're gonna come back to the middle. Same thing, other side. I'm looking over that shoulder. If you need these more either direction, you can pause this video, really get deeper into those stretches. From here, we're gonna move our toes in a little bit. I'm just getting into this stretch. Really breathe into this. From here, same thing. We're gonna come up. I like to get back into the squat just for a couple seconds. Each side, open up the hip flexors and release that back some. Once I get that, we're getting towards the end here. So we're gonna get into a typical yoga squat here. I'm staying down, my feet are completely flat, and I can tuck my elbows in right here. If you have to get up on your toes, it makes it a little bit easier, that's fine. We're just gonna sit in here for a while. My goal for myself right now is to get my toes to turn in a little bit more while I'm doing this. Right now this is fairly easy for me, but if I want to turn my feet in, it becomes a little bit more difficult. It's still a good stretch for the hip flexors. Like I said, there's a lot of hip activity. So once we feel like we got that down, we're going to move. I'm just going to straighten my legs out. I'm going to put a lot of focus on the legs for a while now, so we're going to shake them out a little bit. And this is going to be for somewhat of your back, more of your hip flexor, just open up this whole area right here. So the easiest way to do this is as if you're sitting down on a couch and you're falling back. So I'm here, get your hands under the left leg now, and the right leg is crossing over. I don't want my right leg to come towards my chest. I want it pushed out and open, and I'm just going as far as I can within comfortability. So right now I'm pulling that leg in and breathe. Once I've got that, I can release. Shake your legs out a little bit. We're gonna do the same thing other side. So this right leg is bent now. Left leg is crossing over, and I like to keep this hand here to kind of keep it open. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to open those hip flexors up. Once again, I'm tucking my hands through, bend that knee, and I kind of use my left elbow to keep my left leg open for this one. Release. When I release here, I don't want to just throw my legs down. I want, like I just did, slowly getting out of that. Because these are not normal positions that your body typically does. So I want to move with as much care as possible with my body. So now we're going to stay in the seated position. I'm going to get my legs at a pretty steep angle here. I'm laying flat on my back. What I'm going to try to do is lift my hips up. Try to get as flat as possible. So I'm here, trying to get this to be a straight line, okay? You're going to feel this a lot in glutes. You could even do this as part of a strength workout. If you have it weighted. One way to get those hips even higher up is to interlace your fingers and then really lift those hips up. This is going to open your hip flexors a lot right now. Once we've got that, we can go back down. From here, just do a classic knee hug. Pretty much at the end of this workout. So really focus on locking into what you're doing right now. And deep breaths. Wherever you feel that tension, send those breaths that way. From here, you can get a little action side to side. If you don't quite feel comfortable on your yoga mat, going side to side, like I typically don't even when I have a usual yoga mat. You can stay sitting up and you kind of stack your knees in the opposite direction. Is another way to open up your hips. And they're called hip turns. You're twisting side to side. Once you get good enough of this, you can do it without your hands. Right now I don't feel comfortable enough doing it without my hands. Just sit up straight. Just a little more hip mobility. Allowing your hips to function a little bit better, especially if you're sitting for most of your day. From here you can rewind this video, go back to any stretches or movements that you like the most, and redo those if you really found value in them. This is a great thing to do. Like I said, I do this routine to a T several times a week typically. I try to sometimes throw a little bit more mobility in there. Some days I'll throw a little bit more strength, but it's definitely something you can come back to often. Thank you guys. Let me know if you want to see any more time put into certain areas of the body. I know this was mostly hips, but if you have any suggestions for the rest of the routine or where you feel tightness, where you need to increase strength, mobility, we can definitely do that through the next one. So thanks for joining me. I'll catch up with you guys later.